Hey, what is up YouTube? It's Machine Emperor Weisel coming at you with another video, and this time it's about trap cards, but it's about trap cards that go into your side deck. Now, so the top row, that's basic side deck cards that people have in their main deck, especially in Shadal. Shadal is a matchup that most players will see this weekend over at the YCS Madrid. Some of my friends are going, I couldn't go, so I just want to tell you guys what cards to look out for at the current YCS. So let's get into the side deck choices. There's a couple things I want to talk about, a couple different decks, and that's basically which decks you can stun with these cards. Now, I've borrowed my Heroes Rule 2 to one of my friends, so I can't show you guys that card, but you can look it up. It's a trap card. It's a counter trap card, which says if somebody targets a monster or targets a card in the graveyard with a spell, trap, or monster card effect, negate the activation and destroy it. So that's a really good card to use against Tellarknights because their power plays are Soul Charge, Call of the Haunted, and Altair. Basically, Soul Charge and Call of the Haunted bring back Altair. Now, why I like this card over Pulling the Rug against Tellarknights is that this card is able to play around Stellar Nova Alpha. If they do not have a Tellarknight monster on the field, then they will not be able to activate the Stellar Nova Alpha. This is only if they use Soul Charge of Call of the Haunted, because Heroes Rule 2, like Pulling the Rug, is a card that is going to not negate the summon of Altair, so it'll be on the field, it'll be at activation, so they can still activate their Stellar Nova Alpha. It still sets them back a turn, but I would usually say that it's better to do on the Soul Charger Call of the Haunted. In addition, Pulling the Rug is only for normal summons, so that means that you cannot use it when the Altair is special summoned or one of the other cards are special summoned. So the advantage is that you can do it at every normal summon, so you can basically cripple if you have the Pulling the Rug early game, but it's not as good late game or middle game, so I would suggest playing Heroes Rule 2. I would not cut Pulling the Rug from your side deck if you have space and you can't run Shadow Mirror because you're playing Shadal. You really want to Pulling the Rug the Tour Guides. Now, I know Tour Guides are only 3 cards, but it is their power play, and they keep searching for Pulling the Rug for Tour Guide as well, because of Scarm, and Graf gets Scarm. So basically, they have 9 Tour Guides in their main deck if you look at it like that. Now, as I said, I want to look at some of the side deck choices, and I'm going to put different Dimension Ground and Pulling the Rug to the side. We've discussed Pulling the Rug and different Dimension Grounds for a later time. I want to talk about stunning traps. Wiretap and Trap Stun have the same ability to stun traps. The problem, however, with Wiretap is that you just put it back into the deck, whereas Trap Stun, on a Vanity's Emptiness for instance, can leave your opponent crippled because your opponent cannot do anything against your special summon monsters when you trap stun, but they're left with a Vanity's Emptiness on the field for their next turn, crippling their options. If they have a Shadal Fusion in their hand, or a Tour Guide, or an Altair, what are they going to do? They need to get rid of the Vanity's Emptiness before they are going to be able to make their play. And that's something that is really good why you should choose Trap Stun over Wiretap. Wiretap is good as well because you can negate Solemn Warning and Stellar Nova Alpha, so it's basically something that you want to run, but Trap Stun is so much better for pushing through your own plays. Stellar Nova Alpha is only for Tellarknights. Solemn Warning is 1 card in the deck, and Trap Stun is something that can just negate traps your opponent plays, in addition to your MSTs and other spell trap destructions. So that's why I would really like to play Trapstone and maybe side deck Wiretap for the Stellar Knight matchup. So that's about my trap negating abilities. And then let's go to different dimension ground. Now, all decks are about the graveyard right now. Burning Abyss, Stellar Knight, Citadel, even Sylvans, if you see them, are about the graveyard. And if somebody's going to run Dragon Rulers or something, I don't know, some rogue deck, different dimension ground's really good. And of course, Teeter Crow is a good card as well, but you can kind of cripple plays of your opponent. Let's say are going to mill something into the graveyard, and if they do, you activate different dimension ground to remove it from play. This way, their Altera Search is not going to do anything. They need to special Unculai and then drop the Nav again. So you can really set them back. Also with cards like Shadal Fusion, when you need to drop something from their hand, you can cripple them with a different dimension ground. There's lots of stuff you can do with this that negates the ability of your opponent, or not negates, but it makes your opponent have a problem to activate cards in the graveyard, and that's really, really good. So I really recommend playing this for the bigger plays your opponent makes, the setup plays your opponent makes to basically cripple them, and that's why we're on different dimension ground. So guys, let me know what you guys think. Look up Heroes Rule 2. I'm sorry I couldn't show that card. I'll show you guys every card I talked about in the video. I'm sorry I couldn't show the Heroes Rule 2, but you can look it up. It's just Heroes Rule 2. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you like my channel. I'll be coming up with lots of other tech choices, deck profiles, box openings, tin openings. I'll be doing the 5Ds worlds as well. So have a good weekend, watch the YCS, and let's see some good decks top.